All right, Carl, thank you very much. Go for it.
Hello. I'm Carl. I've been a long time Noisebridge member here. So I've been hacking the Flaschen Taschen lately. If you don't know the Flaschen Taschen, it's the display right behind you, 1,575 beer bottles in LED. So I was thinking, I've been making these demos, but I was thinking they needed something added to them, so maybe some music. So I decided this past week to create what's called a music module player, and these are a special format of mod files which were popular in the 90s. Originally, it was created on the Commodore Amiga computer in 1987. And the original mod files only supported what were called 4 channels or 4 notes at one time. And then later, there's different file name extensions that were created later on, but very popular in the 90s. So I created this player for the Flaschen Taschen tonight, and you may have seen it earlier today where you saw the notes going up and down. So what is a mod file? Well, it's kind of like MIDI in that it contains note data, but it also contains what's called sample data, which is actual digital recordings of each of the instruments. And so what that allows is it allows them to, you can play them anywhere and it'll sound approximately the same, while a MIDI file would sound different wherever you played it, and they didn't really sound that great compared to mod files. So there were these other these programs that are called trackers, and they were used for that was the name for programs like for composing and editing music, and there were various trackers. The ones that I used to play around with back in the 90s, Screen Tracker, Impulse Tracker, and then play around with Fast. Those as examples because those are popular file formats. They all had different file name extensions for the different editors. Here's an example of one called Impulse Tracker, which I used to play around with back then. Yeah, it looks a lot like Screen Tracker. They basically copied their interface, and it was a DOS program. They're all DOS programs. There were ones on Macs, but I didn't have Mac back then, so I was all DOS. So, all right. So there's some terminology related to mod files. So what is a sample was a digital audio recording, a single instrument recorded in middle C, and then an instrument is basically the same thing as a sample. It's just you can have multiple instruments that reference the same sample, and they have special effects applied to them. A channel in mod language is not, they're not talking about left and right channels. They're talking about simultaneous notes played at one time. So the original mod format can only allow for 4 channels, while later formats allowed for more. A pattern is a sequence of notes, so it's basically, sometimes they're like 64 notes, but it could vary. And an order is you place all the patterns in a certain order, and then sometimes you can repeat the same sequence of notes over again if you wanted to. And each individual note had, different, the actual note value, like C, D, E, F, G, as a number, the volume, the instrument that it's playing, and various special effects. And later trackers added their own different effects. Anyway, so you can actually download from this website called Mod Archive. They've been around for like 20 years still. They're still up on the web where you can download free music. So what I did is I used this open source software called OpenMPT to create my mod player. I didn't write the whole thing from scratch. I took an existing C++ library and player, and I hacked the player so that it displays on the Flaschen Taschen. And my source code is up on GitHub, and I will play an example for you. And if you turn around, you can take a look. This actually lasts for 4 minutes total, so like you can ask me questions while it's going on, I guess.
If there are any you're right, I am. If there are any questions, you have to do to the beat of the music. So,
right.
Oh, less questions than I thought. Okay, you'd no longer have to do that. So, I've got a question while
Yes.
everybody tries to work out what I meant by that. So did mods? Did they start on Amigas originally?
Yes, they did.
Did you say that in your talk?
Yes,
and I
in
missed it? Oh, I'm
87.
sorry.
The original mod format was created on the Commodore Amiga in '87. And then it moved over to. It was pretty popular on PCs, computers, and DOS. I don't know how popular it was on Macs, but I knew it was pretty popular. And also, it was very popular in the demo scene. So when people would create the demo scene,
Yeah,
people would create
demos.
So I created demos on Flaschen Taschen,
Right.
and it's like the demo scene, right? So what they would do is they would add mod files to the demos. And keep in mind, this was before MP3s got really popular, because MP3s got popular around, 97, 98 or something?
Yeah.
And, I mean, before MP3s, your digital audio files were really large in size, and MP3s, cut it down to, 1/10 the size. So they use these mod files because they're really small in size. They're usually a few hundred K in size. And they're better quality than MIDI. So
They are.
I don't know if they cracked them, but there were some games that made use of the format.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to do a demo for the Flaschen Taschen, number one, how do they get started?
Okay, so
Two, how can they use mods in their Flaschen Taschen hack?
well, using my source code is really easy. I have instructions on my GitHub page, which is right there.
Yeah.
You can download it, follow instructions, and you can run on your own computer and play against there. It's kind of rough right now. I'd like to fix it up a little bit, clean up a little bit better. I also have another page with all the demos that you've seen in the past, also on my GitHub. So
Awesome.
and you can also check out Henner's website where he created the framework for programming the Flaschen Taschen. So I use this framework
Cool.
that underlies everything.
Where would I find that?
Go to my GitHub.
All right.
And you can find
Such a-
FT-demos, or you can search Flaschen Taschen on Noisebridge's wiki, which kind of links to Henner's, and which links to mine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is this going to kick? Did we? What?
We didn't hear you.
There's no way anyone could have written that down. Really? What? Okay, it's all right. Is this going to reach a peak? Do I have to keep talking until this finishes, or?
It's going to be done.
No,
in
it's going to carry
20
on.
seconds.
It's like Galactic Nightmare all over again. Okay. How long we got? Oh, we got 13 seconds. We can run with that. All right, let's.
Yeah, we're all done. All right.
Oh, it just finished without me even. Oh, what a letdown. Okay, thank you very much. Go. Excellent. So, okay, all right. As Carl goes off into the distance, just with his own little mod track playing in his mind.